I've actually owned a Fiat 124 Spider, so I'm particularly interested in getting behind the wheel of the all-new Fiat Spider. And there it is. Will I be impressed? Let's find out. Well, in terms of its shape, you can certainly see that it's based on the Mazda Miata, but at least they made the front look like the classic Fiat Spider. Thankfully, the Fiat alloy wheels make it pop too. It's definitely a cool shape that begs you to get in to drive it. Well, it's also pretty cool to look at too. Note the 124 Spider emblem and the Fiat badge. Nice. Although I'd like to see it with its really own true design, it still does look good, and it is evocative of the classic Fiat Spider. Inside, there's certainly a resemblance to the Mazda Miata as well, but it does stand out in a couple ways. Interestingly, there's no paddle shifters, so you'll have to shift it here if you want to shift it manually. The cockpit is minimalistic. You do get navigation and an infotainment screen, but really it's all about the driving, and that's good. Of course, there's the bold Fiat badge steering wheel, and you also have these seats, which are different than the Miatas, and they're nice and comfortable. They do look like classic, actually even Porsche seats, maybe more than classic Fiat Spider seats, but they're definitely cool, definitely very supportive and comfortable too. It's a great open air cockpit that, as I said, just begs you to get in and drive. It's got that raspiness that is certainly a signature of the Fiat Spider, and that's a good thing. It's also quick and handles quite well. It's very fun to drive, as is the Miata it's based on. It must be, it has to be, it's a Fiat, and so it won't disappoint you there. It also won't disappoint you in terms of reliability. Some of the old ones were a little questionable, and you can actually see my review of the classic Fiat 124 2000 Spider. I actually had one and just sold it recently. I do miss it. Mine was very cool looking, check it out. But it's so nice to see the Fiat Spider back in America, even if it is based on the Mazda Miata. That's not really anything to complain about, because the Miata is great. You can check out my review of that one. But the Fiat Spider does have its own personality too. It's a car that's made for cruising with the top down, even if you don't know how to drive a manual transmission. Now, in terms of driving the Fiat Spider here, it does feel different than the Miata because you have that turbocharger. You can hear the whine, and it's pretty cool. It's different than the Miata in that respect, but it's not different in the Miata that it's just nimble, it's playful. You can place it, it will get loose. You can have a lot of fun with this Fiat Spider, just like with the Miata, but it does, thankfully, have a bit of its own personality thanks to the 1.4 liter four-cylinder turbocharged engine. That's good for a 0 to 60 time of 6.3 seconds onto a top speed of 136 miles per hour. And it starts at $25,000, just like the Miata, so it's very fairly priced. And you know, this is what it's all about. An open two-seat convertible that is fun to drive. And it's especially nice for a road like this one. It's also nice to note that at speed you can actually carry on a conversation even with the windows down. That's a good thing too. Ah, alfresco motoring. The Fiat Spider is the perfect car for that. An added bonus is that, you know, fuel economy is actually into the 30s for highway MPGs and high 20s just on average, so that's pretty good for a car this fun. You might not be able to carry all that much with you, but you can certainly get away for a weekend in this and have a great trip with your significant other. It's one of those cars that just begs you to go driving it on the weekend. Now, you know, I wish they could have just started from scratch and really done their own Fiat Spider, but you know, the automotive market is such these days that car manufacturers need to join together, like Subaru and Toyota, and in this case Mazda and the Fiat Group, and it's okay. They've really come up with a car that has its own personality, and for me, as an old Fiat Spider owner, check out my review of that one. It's really great to have a Fiat Spider back in the United States again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Drivin Ivan.